Hey there. It is good to see you. I'm glad you found me, found us, if you will. Hey, have you ever sat through a meeting where everybody talked for an hour? Everybody nodded, everybody agreed, and then absolutely nothing changed? I know I have. Far too many. We've all done that, I think. And if so, the problem isn't your meetings. It's not that you're having meetings. It's your team doesn't know the score. Today, I want to show you one of the simplest tools in the toolbox. We use this with clients to create accountability without micromanaging. And it's our business scoreboard. And ideally, we'll create a scoreboard for the business as a whole, that larger umbrella, for each department or team in the business, and eventually every person. If you remember last week, we talked about the organizational chart, and it answers who owns what. And also within that function in the organization, and within that sheet, it tells us the KPIs or the numbers they're responsible for. And we're going to use that to inform the scoreboard, but we don't transfer number for number, right? Today we're answering the question, if last week was who owns what, today we're answering the question, how do we know if we're winning? Here's what I see all the time. Business owners tell me that, hey, listen, my people just aren't accountable. There's no accountability, et cetera, et cetera. So I ask them, well, how does your team know whether they're winning this week? And most of the time I get deer in the headlights, a blank stare. If people don't know what success looks like, don't expect accountability. I remember working with a business owner who's frustrated with his leadership team. Every week he'd spend the meeting asking for updates. What happened with that project? Did we call that customer? Where are we on sales? It felt like he had to drag information out of everyone. And so I asked him, how does everyone know if they're winning before they walk into the meeting? No response. The reality wasn't that the team didn't care. He had a good team, but they'd never been given a simple way to measure success. So we built a scoreboard. And within a few weeks, the conversation shifted. Instead of asking what happened, the team started saying, we're behind on this number. We're ahead over here, and we're doing great here. Oh, we need some help with this. We gave the team a scoreboard and a way to know if they're winning. We didn't have to chase updates anymore. We could actually manage the business. Notice I didn't say manage the people. They were doing that. We could manage the business. Think about football. It's kind of like football. Imagine watching the Super Bowl without a scoreboard. The players don't know the score. The coaches don't know the score. The fans don't know the score. Nobody knows whether they're winning or losing. It would be chaos. And I promise you, the players wouldn't be as engaged. They wouldn't be playing their hearts out if there was no score. If that's exactly how many businesses operate. In fact, I was one of them early on. We didn't have a scoreboard. A lot of the decisions we made were based on the money available in the checking account at that moment, a snapshot. In the context of a football game, that only really tells you if you're on offense or defense. But it doesn't give you any more information than that. Without a scoreboard, people come to work. They're busy all day, but nobody knows whether they're actually winning. A scoreboard changes that. So when we talk about a scoreboard, I'm not talking about a 20-page booklet that nobody really looks through or understands. And I'm not talking about a spreadsheet with 75 metrics on it. I'm talking about a handful of numbers that tell your team whether the business is healthy. And by a handful, probably a minimum of 5 numbers, maximum no more than 15. Should be simple, should be visible, should be reviewed every week. Now, you may have some metrics that are only reviewed monthly. and that's okay. But inevitably, undoubtedly, there are things on the scoreboard that need to be reviewed weekly. A great scoreboard answers one question: are we winning? And if not, where do we need to shore things up? Where do we need to get support to or marshal resources? The other thing to keep in mind is whether you're using lagging or leading indicators on your scoreboard. I see this very frequently. Owners just look at their financial reports: revenue, profit, cash in the bank, and those matter, they do, but they're lagging indicators. They tell you what's already happened. Great businesses also measure leading indicators, the things that create those results. When we've got a good, strong scoreboard built mostly of leading indicators, we're able to make decisions proactively. We see things before they become a crisis. Often, we're in reactive mode as business owners because we are measuring it's the lagging measures we're looking at. When we switch to leading measures and we can make proactive decisions, and it's freeing. Now we can focus on what's important rather than constantly putting out fires in the realm of what's urgent. Here's some examples. Let's say you own a roofing company. Instead of tracking monthly revenue, you could track new leads, estimates scheduled, estimates closed, jobs completed, cash collected. Your team now knows exactly where attention is needed. If you're in HVAC, your scoreboard might include service calls completed, maintenance agreements sold, average ticket, your callback percentage. If you're a professional service business, maybe you're watching how many discovery meetings get scheduled, how many proposals get sent, how many new clients, how many of those proposals convert to new clients, what's your client satisfaction rating, how many referrals are you getting? You see, every business has different numbers, but the principle is the same. Measure what drives success. Frequent mistakes. 4 of them. There may be more, but these 4 come to mind. Number 1, we try to measure everything. We've got a scoreboard that has way too many metrics on it. We end up in the weeds departmentally and individually instead of staying at that high level that tells us the health of the business. Remember, trying to measure everything. If everything's important, then nothing is. Okay, second thing, we're only reviewing the numbers once a month. It's too late. So much can happen over the course of 4 weeks or so. Undoubtedly, there are numbers, there are metrics you can be looking at weekly and getting your pulse on the health, on the heartbeat of your business every week. Waiting a month, as I said, it's just too late. Things move too fast. Great teams know the score every single week. Number 3, tracking numbers that nobody can influence. Comes back to those lagging numbers that once the cows are out of the pen, they're out of the pen. But if we're checking the pen regularly to make sure the gate's latched and there's ample food to keep so they don't want to wander, those are good things to measure rather than how many cows got out. You can't impact once they're out, they're out. So anyhow, people should own the numbers they can actually impact. Number 4, mistake I see is keeping the scorecard in the owner's laptop. If the owner is the only one that sees it, that's like the owner up in the, back to the football analogy, up in the owner's box looking at the score, but the coaches, the players, nobody else knows what the score is. Not very effective, right? Your team needs to see that scoreboard. If nobody can see it, nobody owns it. Here's why I love scoreboards. They remove emotion. Instead of saying, I don't think you're doing your job, you simply ask, what does the scoreboard say? You see, every number on the scoreboard is owned by one person on the team. If more than one person owns it, Nobody owns it. If more than one person's accountable, you have the opportunity for nobody to be accountable. So, take the emotion out. Simply ask, what does the scoreboard say? Now we're talking about facts, not opinions, not feelings. And that creates healthier conversations. It creates better coaching. And it creates a much stronger culture. So if you're up for it, here's my challenge for you this week. Write down 5 numbers, 5 to 10, that tell you whether your business is winning. Ask your leadership team the same question. If everyone gives a different answer, you may have a clarity problem, but that is something you can fix. So then work together to come up with the 5 to 10 numbers that tell you if your business is winning. Next week, we're going to go a step further, because once everybody knows who owns what and how success is measured, we've got a scoreboard. That's great. Now we need a rhythm, a leadership rhythm that keeps everybody moving in the same direction. So we're going to be talking about your weekly leadership meeting. I hope this serves you. If it has helped you, please hit the subscribe button. I'm going to be dropping and adding more value with practical leadership and business systems, business system content each and every week. Remember, great businesses don't happen by accident. They happen by design. Create systems, build systems, develop leaders, live stronger. Till next time, peace.